April 1945, somewhere south of Nuremberg. The war is in its last ugly days. 312 boys stand in 3 ragged lines before a barn wall, ages 12 to 16, most barefoot, all half-starved, faces black with soot, empty Panzerfaust tubes clutched in trembling hands. They believe they are about to die. Their officers told them the Americans bayonet children. The boys believe it because propaganda is easier to swallow than truth when you are 12 years old and terrified. So they stand straight, trying to die like men. Some cry silently, some sing Deutschland über alles in cracking voices. The youngest ones simply shake. Across from them, 28 American soldiers of the 42nd Infantry Rainbow Division hold rifles ready, safeties off, fingers on triggers, 30 yards between the two groups, close enough to see faces, close enough to see fear. At the front stands Captain Nathaniel Harrison, 28 years old, from Boston. High school English teacher before the war. He has a wife named Margaret, who writes him letters every week. A son named Theodore, 13 years old, who plays baseball and wants to be a writer. Theodore is exactly the same age as the smallest boy against that barn wall. The boy's name is Otto Hartmann, 12 years old, from Munich. His uniform hangs loose on his thin frame. He drops his empty Panzerfaust tube. It clatters like breaking bones. No one moves. Captain Harrison watches, jaw set, eyes hard, but his hand clenches so tight his knuckles are white. To his left stands Lieutenant Truman Morrison, 42, face like granite. Morrison stopped feeling anything months ago. To Harrison's right stands Sergeant Dalton Murphy, Irish-American, 25, red hair, green eyes burning with rage. Murphy lost his best friend 6 days ago. Sergeant Davis, a 15-year-old with a Panzerfaust, blew apart Davis's jeep. Murphy watched him burn. Found Davis's wedding ring melted into his fingerbone. Murphy wants blood for blood. Behind them, Corporal Edwin Brenner stands with a clipboard, German-American, 23, thin, bookish. His job is to translate so the boys understand what is happening to them. At the rear, Mess Sergeant Augustus Whitfield. Everyone calls him Gus, 50 years old, from Tennessee. He has been cooking for this company since France. He feeds them, keeps them alive. At the front of the boys' formation stands Friedrich Voss, 14 years old, from Dresden, tall, blonde hair matted with dirt, scar across his left cheek, missing the tip of his pinky finger from frostbite. Friedrich is singing Deutschland über alles, voice steady, defiant. He refuses to cry, has not cried since February 13th. February 13th, 1945, Dresden firebombing. Friedrich was at training camp 60 kilometers away. When he came home 3 days later, there was no home, just ash and bones. His mother, his father, his 80-year-old sister Anna with her doll, all dead. He joined the 12th SS Hitler Jugend Division the next day, 14 years old. He has nothing left to live for and everything to die for. Beside him stands Peter Hoffmann, 13, from Berlin, quieter, more afraid. Peter remembers normal life, Sunday dinners, his mother's potato soup, his father's laugh, all gone now. His father died in Stalingrad, his mother and sister in a 1944 bombing raid, and Otto, sweet Otto Hartmann, 12 years old, the smallest, the one who cries for his mother and does not understand why the Americans hate him. Captain Harrison raises his hand. The signal. 28 rifles lift in unison. The boys see the movement. Some close their eyes, some stare ahead with false defiance. Friedrich's voice gets louder. Others join in, a ragged chorus of children singing what will become a funeral dirge. Harrison's hand trembles. 3 days earlier, these boys had been soldiers. They had fought. They had killed. Sergeant Davis died because a 15-year-old blew apart his jeep with a Panzerfaust. Lieutenant Morrison had radioed command. The response was clear. The Hitler Youth are enemy combatants, armed, dangerous, fanatical. Handle them according to the rules of war. Everyone understood what that meant. The boys had been marched 40 kilometers to this camp. No food, no water. 2 died during the march. And now they stand here. 312 children in soldiers' uniforms. Harrison's mind is somewhere else. He is thinking about Theodore, his son, who writes letters about school and baseball and their dog named Sergeant. Theodore is 13, same age as Peter Hoffmann, same build, same dark hair. If Theodore were German, he would be in the Hitler Youth. Membership was mandatory. Every boy 12 and older. He is thinking about Margaret's last letter. Bring goodness home, Nathaniel. Not just yourself. Bring goodness. Come home human. He is thinking about the photograph in his wallet, Margaret and Theodore on their front porch, smiling, safe, whole. He is thinking about Sergeant Davis, about the wedding ring melted into bone, about Murphy's face. He is thinking that if he gives this order, he will never really go home. He will go back to Boston. He will hug Margaret and Theodore, but some part of him will stay here, with these boys, with the choice he made. His hand drops, but he does not give the order to fire. Instead, he speaks, voice quiet, steady. "Hold fire!" Murphy turns sharply. "Sir, I said hold fire, Sergeant." Morrison steps forward. "Captain, we have our orders." "I know our orders, Lieutenant." "Then you know what needs to happen." Harrison looks at the boys, at Friedrich singing, at Peter with eyes closed, at Otto crying silently. "These are children," Harrison says. "These are Hitler Youth." Morrison replies cold. "They killed Davis, Kelly, Patterson. They're soldiers. They're 12 years old. Age doesn't matter when you're carrying a Panzerfaust. They're not carrying them now. Look at them, Truman. Really look." Morrison does. His face does not change. "I see enemy combatants. I see somebody's children." Murphy spits on the ground. "Sir Davis was my friend. These bastards burned him alive. I heard him screaming." Harrison turns to face him. "I know, Dalton. I know what they did. And I'm sorry." "Then why?" "Because if we do this, if we line them up and shoot them, are we any better than the people we're fighting?" "We're the ones who won," Murphy says. "That makes us better." "No, that just makes us the ones still standing. Being better means making different choices." Harrison pauses, takes a breath. "If I execute these children, what did Davis die for? What does it mean if we become the kind of men who shoot 12-year-olds? The tension is thick. The American soldiers shift. Some agree with Harrison. Some agree with Murphy. All are tired. All want this war over. Friedrich has stopped singing. He watches the Americans argue, does not understand the words but understands the tone. Something is happening. Something unexpected. Hope is dangerous when you have accepted death. Corporal Brenner steps forward. "Sir, what do you want to do?" It is the only question that matters. Harrison is silent. Then he holsters his rifle. The sound is very loud. He walks forward, alone, hands empty. The boys tense. This is it. The commander will shoot them himself. Execution style. Friedrich squares his shoulders. He will go first. He will show them how Germans die. Harrison stops 5 feet away. He looks at Friedrich. Really looks. At the dirt, the hunger, the scar, the missing fingertip, the defiance covering terror. Harrison reaches into his pocket. Friedrich braces for the pistol. Instead, Harrison pulls out a photograph. Margaret and Theodore. He holds it up. "You see this boy?" Harrison says slowly. Brenner translates. Friedrich stares at the photograph. At the American boy with dark hair and a baseball glove, 13 years old, standing in sunshine, smiling. "That's my son," Harrison says. "His name is Theodore. He's 13, same as you." Brenner translates. Friedrich cannot speak. "I look at you, and I see him," Harrison continues. "I see somebody's son. You were loved once. Someone cared about you. Someone taught you your letters. Someone tucked you in at night." Brenner translates quietly. "Some boys are crying now. Not from fear. From something else." "You're not monsters," Harrison says. "You're children who were given guns and told to fight. I won't kill you for that. I won't kill you for being born in the wrong country at the wrong time." The words hang in cold air. Harrison turns back to his men. "We're not doing this," he says. Officer's voice. "That's final." Morrison's face is stone. "Captain, I'll have to report this." "Then report it. Tell them Captain Nathaniel Harrison refused to execute 312 children. They'll court-martial you. Maybe. But at least I'll be able to look my son in the eye when I go home." Harrison walks to the field kitchen, to Gus Whitfield, who watches with wide eyes. "Gus," Harrison says quietly, "how many hamburgers you got ready?" Whitfield blinks. "Sir, hamburgers, sea rations. How many?" "We got about 320 for the company, but sir, I need 312. "Sir, I don't understand." Harrison meets his eyes. "I need you to feed these boys. 312 hamburgers. Can you do that?" Whitfield looks past Harrison at the boys, at the rifles lowering, at the execution that stopped. Understanding dawns. "Sir, Gus says, voice thick. You want me to feed them first? Feed them first, then we'll figure out what comes next. A smile spreads across Whitfield's face. Yes, sir.
312 hamburgers, coming right up.
He turns to his assistants.
You heard the captain. Fire up the grills, all of them. We got hungry kids to feed.
The field kitchen comes to life. Hiss of propane, clang of griddles, sizzle of patties hitting hot iron. And then the smell begins. Real beef, not sawdust, not horse meat, not the grey mystery meat that sustained the Wehrmacht for years. Real American beef, seasoned with salt and pepper, sizzling in its own fat. The smell drifts across 30 yards like a physical thing, cuts through cold air, overwhelms cordite and fear and unwashed bodies. Friedrich's nose twitches, his stomach clenches, his mouth floods with saliva. Otto's eyes widen. Was is that? What is that? Peter inhales deeply. The smell makes him dizzy. He remembers his mother's potato soup. The boys shift, murmur. They do not understand. Why are the Americans cooking? The soldiers lower rifles slowly, confused, uncertain. Murphy shakes his head.
Sir, this is insane.
Harrison watches Whitfield work. Maybe. But I'd rather be insane than be the kind of man who shoots children and calls it war. The griddles fill. The smell intensifies. Butter melts into golden pools. Steam rises in ribbons the wind carries like a promise. The boys stand frozen, not daring to hope. Friedrich's hand goes to his pocket, to the photograph of his family. All dead. And this American is cooking food instead of loading bullets. Nothing makes sense. Whitfield works fast. 20 hamburgers finished, then 40, 60, 80. The smell is overwhelming. The boys' mouths water. Some sway on their feet. Harrison walks to the kitchen. Whitfield hands him a tray. 20 hamburgers steaming wrapped in wax paper. Harrison carries them toward the boys. Every step feels like crossing a divide between the world that was and the world that might be. Harrison stops in front of Friedrich. The boy looks up. 14, tall, starving, scared, trying to be brave. Harrison holds out a hamburger. You're hungry, he says. Brenner translates. Eat first, then we talk. Friedrich stares at the hamburger, at the steam, the melted butter, the char. His hands shake. He does not take it. Americans execute prisoners. They do not feed. This must be a trick. It's not poisoned, Harrison says gently. I promise. It's just food. Still, Friedrich hesitates. Harrison unwraps the hamburger, breaks off a piece, eats it himself. See safe. Just food. He holds out the rest. Friedrich's hand moves slowly. Fingers close around warm wax paper. The weight, the heat, the smell. It is real. He brings it to his mouth, takes a bite. Salt, fat, char, comfort. Flavors he has not tasted since before Dresden, before the bombs, before the world ended. Real beef, not horse meat, not rat. Butter melting into bread. Something made with care instead of desperation. His knees give way. He sits in the dirt and sobs into the hamburger. Great racking sobs. He cries for his mother, his father, Anna and her doll, the life he lost. He cries and eats and cannot stop doing either. Around him, Harrison distributes the other 19. To Peter, to Otto, to the boys closest. They eat like starving animals because they are. Crying, shaking. Some choke from eating too fast. Some vomit and then cry because they wasted food. Otto takes tiny bites, making it last. Tears stream. Es ist real, he whispers. It's real. Peter devours his in 4 bites and looks for more wild-eyed. Behind, Harrison Whitfield's team prepares the next batch, and the next. 312 hamburgers for 312 boys. The soldiers watch in silence, some angry. Murphy, rigid, touching Davis's ring. Some moved. One private wipes tears, all uncertain. Morrison approaches Harrison. Captain, what happens after they eat? Harrison looks at the boys, at Friedrich with a hamburger pressed to his heart, at Otto taking tiny bites, at Peter begging for seconds. I don't know, Truman. I really don't know. But today, these boys don't die. Not by our hands. Not like this. He pauses. Today, we feed them. We give them kindness, mercy, a full stomach. Tomorrow we figure out what it means to win a war without losing ourselves.
Morrison nods. Once. Sharp. Understood, sir. Murphy approaches slowly, face conflicted. Sir, I still think you're wrong. I know Dalton. Davis deserved better. Davis deserved to live. We can't give him that. But maybe we can make sure his death meant we stayed human even when it was hard. Murphy looks at the boys, at Friedrich crying, at Otto eating. I don't forgive them, Murphy says. I'm not asking you to, just asking you not to kill them. Murphy nods, touches the ring one more time, walks away. The smell of hamburgers fills April air. The boys eat and cry and begin to believe they might live. Captain Nathaniel Harrison stands watching 312 boys discover that Americans do not always kill, that sometimes they feed. In his pocket the photograph of Theodore and Margaret. In his heart the weight of the choice and all consequences to follow. In front of him 312 children who expected bullets and got hamburgers instead. The first hamburger changes everything. Friedrich Voss sits in dirt crying into American beef. The taste overwhelms him. Salt and fat and char. Real meat. Not sawdust bread. Not potato peel soup. This is real. Peter Hoffman eats his in 4 desperate bites. His stomach cramps. He doubles over retching. Brenner kneels beside him. Slow, Brenner says in German. Your body has forgotten what food is. Gus brings Peter another hamburger cut into smaller pieces. Peter eats this one slowly. His stomach accepts it. Otto holds his hamburger with both hands like it might disappear. 12 years old. So small. He takes deliberate bites. Savouring. The butter has soaked into the bun. The beef is warm. He closes his eyes. For a moment he is home, in Munich, his mother's kitchen. When he opens his eyes, he is still in the field, still a prisoner. But the hamburger is real. The warmth in his chest is real. He begins to cry, not from fear, from something that feels like hope. All around the field 312 boys eat, weep, shake. Some stuff extras in pockets. Some eat so fast they vomit. Some simply stare, unable to process this. The soldiers watch, some with satisfaction, some with anger, some with confusion. But slowly something shifts. A private brings his canteen to a choking boy, helps him drink. Another soldier sees a boy shivering, takes off his jacket, drapes it over thin shoulders. Morrison organizes distribution. Form lines, everyone gets fed. By sunset, all 312 have eaten. Friedrich approaches Harrison, eyes red, still holding the wax paper.
Brenner translates as Friedrich speaks. Why do you feed us? Harrison looks at him. Because you're hungry. We killed your soldiers. I know. We would kill you if we could. I know that too. Then why? Harrison pulls out the photograph again. You have family. Friedrich's face hardens. I had family. Dresden. February. They burned. Harrison closes his eyes briefly. I'm sorry. Your planes did it. I know. And still you feed me. Still I feed you. Friedrich stares. I don't understand Americans. I don't understand war, Harrison replies. But I understand this. You were somebody's son. Your mother loved you. You were a child before you were a soldier. Maybe if we feed the child, we save something. Maybe we prove not everything has to end in blood. Friedrich's throat works. He nods once, walks away. But he does not throw away the wax paper. That night the boys sleep in an old schoolhouse. The Americans bring blankets. Army issue.
Rough wool. Warm. The boys burrow into them. Most have not slept under blankets in months. Otto curls up. For the first time in weeks he is not cold. His stomach is full. He is not sure if this is real or a dream, but he does not want it to end. Peter lies awake. His mind replays the taste, the smell, the butter melting. He commits every detail to memory because surely this will never happen again. Friedrich sits with his back against the wall, the wax paper still in his pocket. Around him boys sleep. Some snore, some whimper, some cry quietly. He thinks about his mother, Dresden, Harrison's face when he said, I'm sorry. The enemy said sorry. The enemy fed them. Nothing makes sense. In another room, soldiers stand guard. Murphy volunteers first watch. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees Davis burning. Harrison sits beside him. Neither speaks. I still think you're wrong, Murphy says finally. I know. But I'm glad you did it. Murphy's voice cracks. Davis would have hated it, but he also gave half his rations to French kids. He couldn't help himself, so maybe he would have understood. He would have, Harrison says quietly. The boys are moved to a proper camp outside Regensburg. Barracks, latrines, mess hall, guards rotating in 8-hour shifts. They receive clean clothes, American surplus. The uniforms hang loose but are clean and whole. They shower, real showers, hot water. Most have not bathed in months. They stand under water as long as allowed, scrubbing away grime and blood. Otto cries in the shower. The hot water reminds him of his mother washing his hair when he was small. Medical teams examine each boy, treat infections, lice, scabies, malnutrition, frostbite damage. Brenner translates, explains treatments. Some boys accept easily, others resist. Spit at medics. The true believers who still think the Reich will rise. Friedrich is in between. He accepts treatment because he is not stupid.
But he does not trust them, watches everything with suspicious eyes, waiting for the trick. On the third day, Gus announces Hamburger Friday. Every Friday, Gus explains through Brenner. Long as you're here, every Friday is Hamburger Day. The boys line up. Gus works the grills from dawn until every boy is fed. Otto takes one, eats slowly, savouring. When finished, he carefully folds the wax paper, puts it in his pocket. Proof this happened. After the second week, something changes. The boys begin to relax. Their walk becomes less hunched, their talk less whispered. They act like children again instead of soldiers waiting to die. Murphy starts teaching baseball. It begins accidentally. He is off duty tossing a ball against a barracks wall. Boys watch from a distance, curious. One approaches, points at the ball. Baseball, Murphy says, then tosses it to him. The boy catches awkwardly, throws it back. Within minutes, a dozen boys play catch.
Within a week, Murphy has organized teams, drawn a diamond, explained rules through Brenner's translation. They play every afternoon, Americans and Germans, taking turns at bat, arguing calls in 2 languages, laughing at spectacular catches and terrible errors. Otto is terrible at baseball, too small, too weak, but he tries. He stands at batwood, huge in his small hands, swings with everything he has. Misses. Swings again. Misses. On the third swing, he connects. The ball dribbles 10 feet. He runs anyway, makes first base, grins like he won the war. The boys cheer, Americans and Germans both. In that moment, no sides, just boys playing ball. Friedrich watches from the sidelines, does not play, sits with arms crossed, scowling, but he watches. Harrison sits beside him one afternoon, does not speak. After silence, Friedrich speaks. Brenner nearby translates. This kindness is a trick. It's not a trick. Then weakness. You should have killed us. Why? Because we are the enemy. Your children. Friedrich is quiet. Then, you destroyed my city. Your planes, your bombs. My family burned because of you. I know, and I'm sorry. Truly. Sorry does not bring them back. No, it doesn't. I hate you. I know. So why feed me? Why let me live? Harrison looks at him, at this angry, grieving 14-year-old. Because hate doesn't have to mean death. You can hate me and I can still give you a hamburger. Hate is just a feeling. It doesn't have to be a bullet. Friedrich stares, stands abruptly, walks away. But 2 days later, he joins the baseball game. Does not smile, does not laugh. But he plays. English lessons begin. Brenner leads. Patient, writes words on a chalkboard. Points, says the English word. Boys repeat. Chair, table, food, water, friend. Peter has a gift for languages, picks up phrases quickly. Within 2 weeks, holds basic conversations. Otto learns slower but tries hard. Carries a notebook everywhere. Writes new words in careful block letters. They learn practical phrases. Thank you. Please. I am hungry. Then complex things. Sentences. Questions. One afternoon, Peter approaches Harrison. In careful English. Sir, I want... Say thank you. For food. For not kill us. Thank you. Eyes fill with tears. Harrison's eyes are not dry either. You're welcome. You're very welcome. In evenings, boys gather. Brenner teaches American songs. You Are My Sunshine. Home on the Range. They learn Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It becomes their anthem. Sing it badly thick accents, mispronounced words, but with everything they have. Otto sings it every night before sleep. A prayer in English to an American game he barely understands. On the 5th week's first day, Harrison discovers something. He reviews paperwork with Morrison. Records of the boys, names, ages, family status, family deceased, family status unknown. Family deceased Dresden firebombing. Page after page, 73 boys have no confirmed living family.
no homes, no one waiting, orphans of the Reich. Harrison sits with the list. 73 names, boys who will become refugees, sent to displaced persons camps, processed, categorized, forgotten, unless someone does something. That night, Harrison begins writing letters to adoption agencies in America, churches, charitable organizations, anyone who might help. 73 individual letters, describing each boy, ages, personalities, potential. Otto Hartmann is 12 years old, small for his age but kind heart, learning English quickly, loves baseball though terrible at it, draws pictures in his notebook, needs a family, deserves a family. He writes until his hand cramps, until words blur, until Morrison finds him at dawn surrounded by finished letters. "What are you doing?" Morrison asks. "Trying to save them, one letter at a time."
Morrison reads one letter, then another. His face softens. "I'll help. Tell me what you need." They work together. Writing, organizing. By week's end, 73 letters ready to mail. Harrison has no idea if any will work, but he has to try. 6th week arrives. July 1945. War in Europe officially ended. VE Day come and gone. Orders come. The boys are to be repatriated, returned to Germany, to camps or surviving relatives or whatever fate awaits. Harrison has 1 week to prepare them. He calls a meeting. All 312 boys. Brenner translates. "You're going home, next week. Transported to repatriation centers. We've contacted families where we could." The boys are silent. Some look relieved, some terrified, some blank from too much shock. "Before you go, we want to give you something, a way to remember." Gus's team brings boxes, small paper bags, 312, one for each boy. Harrison picks one, opens it, shows contents. 1 hamburger wrapped in wax paper, 1 bottle of Coca-Cola, 1 baseball signed by every American soldier, 1 letter of recommendation from Harrison. "These are yours, proof this happened, proof you survived, proof that even in war there can be kindness." Boys line up, one by one receive bags. Some hug them, some peek inside and smile, some cry. Friedrich is last. He stands straight, salutes. Harrison salutes back. "Sir," Friedrich says in halting English, "thank you. You give us more than food. You give us tomorrow." Harrison hands him the bag, then takes his own baseball from his pocket, the one from home, Theodore's signature on it, Margaret's too. He gives it to Friedrich. "Keep it. Remember, mercy is stronger than hate." Friedrich takes the baseball, stares, nods once. Next morning, trucks arrive. 312 boys load. Some wave goodbye. Some stare ahead. Some cry. Otto finds Harrison before boarding. In English, "I will be teacher."
Like you teach me. I will tell everyone about hamburgers, about mercy. "I know you will," Harrison says. The trucks drive away. Harrison stands watching until they disappear. In his hand, he holds 1 hamburger, the one he saved from that first day, wrapped carefully, preserved. He does not eat it, puts it in his pack. 50 years, he thinks. If any come back, I'll share this. I promise. The field is empty. The camp quiet. Captain Nathaniel Harrison stands alone, holding a hamburger that will become legend. 50 years is a long time to carry a hamburger. Harrison returns to Boston in September 1945, the hamburger wrapped in wax paper sealed in a glass jar in his pack. Margaret meets him at the dock. Theodore beside her, 13 and taller. They embrace. Harrison cries into his wife's hair. That night he places the jar on his study shelf. The hamburger has turned hard as stone, petrified, preserved. "What is that?" Theodore asks. "A promise," Harrison tells him.
"A promise I made to 312 boys. If they ever come back, I'll share a meal with them." Will they come back? I don't know, but if they do, I'll be ready. Years pass like water through fingers. Harrison returns to teaching. High school English. Same classroom, same desk, same Hamlet with annotations from before the war. But he is not the same man. His students notice. The way he pauses mid-lecture staring at something they cannot see. The way he talks about mercy like it is the most important word. The hamburger sits on the shelf, gathering dust, waiting. Theodore grows up, Harvard Law, becomes an attorney, marries Elizabeth in 1957, has 3 children. Harrison becomes a grandfather in 1962, plays baseball with grandchildren in the backyard, reads to them, tells stories about courage and kindness. In 1970, Margaret dies. Cancer, quiet and quick. Harrison is 53, suddenly alone in the house they bought in 1932. Theodore is grown. Grandchildren visit, but do not live here. The rooms echo. He scatters her ashes in the garden. The Victory Garden she planted during the war and tended 25 years after. That night, he sits with the glass jar. I kept my promise, Margaret. I don't know if it will ever matter, but I kept it. The hamburger does not answer, but holding it makes him feel less alone. Years continue. Harrison keeps teaching. Grandchildren graduate, get married, have children of their own. Harrison becomes a great-grandfather. The world changes. Vietnam, Watergate, the Cold War's freeze and thaw. The hamburger waits. In 1990, Harrison retires. 73 years old. 47 years in the same classroom. He boxes books, takes down posters, walks out for the last time. That night he dusts the jar carefully. Did it matter? He asks the empty study. Did any of it matter? No answer comes, but he keeps the hamburger, because a promise is a promise. November 1994. Harrison is 77. Theodore is 62. Grandchildren grown with families scattered. Harrison lives alone in the Beacon Hill house. Same rooms, same stairs, same photographs showing faces living and dead. On a cold Tuesday, the mail arrives. A thin envelope, international postage, German stamps, Munich return address. Harrison's hands shake opening it. The letter inside is careful English. Dear Captain Harrison, this is Friedrich Voss. You knew me as a boy of 14 in Regensburg, April 1945. One of 312 Hitler Youth you fed hamburgers instead of executing. I am 64 now. Professor of History at Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich. I teach students about war, about choices, about the day an American captain chose mercy. 211 of us are still living. We have found each other, stayed in touch. We talk about that day often, the day we expected death and received hamburgers. We want to say thank you. We want to come back.
Will you meet us in Nuremberg on April 15, 1995, the same field? We will bring the baseballs. We hope you still have what you promised to keep. One hamburger, 50 years old. Will you come? With deepest respect and eternal gratitude. Friedrich Voss. Harrison reads it 3 times, then sits and cries like he has not cried since Margaret died 24 years ago. Theodore finds him an hour later, reads the letter, eyes wide. Dad, are you going? Harrison wipes his face, nods. I made a promise. April 1995. The flight to Germany is long. Harrison is 78 and the journey exhausts him. Theodore insists on coming, brings all 12 grandchildren ages 8 to 25. Harrison sits by the window glass jar in his lap, wrapped in a towel, protected like a sacred relic. They land in Munich, rent 2 vans, drive to Nuremberg. The city has been rebuilt, scars hidden beneath modern architecture and decades of healing. But some things remain. Old churches, cobblestone streets, the weight of history. They follow Friedrich's directions to a field outside the city. Harrison recognizes it immediately, though 50 years have transformed everything. The barn is gone. In its place, a memorial garden. Trees in neat rows. A stone marker. Remember, choose peace. But the field is the same. Same slope. Same view of distant hills. Same ground where 312 boys stood waiting for death. And there are people here. 211 men standing in 3 precise rows. Old now, grey-haired, lined faces, ages 62 to 66, some with canes, 2 in wheelchairs. All here, all waiting. Harrison steps from the van. Theodore steadies him. Grandchildren gather close, sensing something profound. The men stand at attention. The muscle memory of boys who once wore uniforms they did not choose. Friedrich Voss steps forward from the front row. 64 now, tall, distinguished, grey-haired, glasses, a university professor, a man who has lived a full life. In his hand a baseball, worn, scuffed, signatures faded to ghosts. Harrison walks toward him. Each step feels like crossing an ocean, crossing 50 years. They meet in the center where a boy once cried into a hamburger. For 10 seconds neither speaks. Old men seeing ghosts of their younger selves. Then Friedrich salutes. Military sharp. Harrison salutes back. Herr Kapitän, Friedrich says, voice thick. Nathaniel, you came. I promised I would. 50 years. You kept a hamburger for 50 years. I keep my promises. Friedrich's eyes fill. 211 of us came back.
Harrison looks past him, recognizes some faces. Peter Hoffman, 63, grey-beard, kind eyes. Otto Hartmann, 62, still small but no longer fragile, teacher's lanyard around his neck. Others he does not recognize by face but knows anyway, by how they stand, by the baseballs they hold, by gratitude written in every line.
My God, Harrison whispers. You all came.
We have waited 50 years to say thank you, Friedrich says. To stand in this field, not as boys waiting for execution, but as men who got to live, to have families, futures, because of you. Harrison's throat closes. Friedrich turns to the 211, speaks in German first, then English. Brothers, on April 12th, 1945, we were children waiting for bullets. Captain Nathaniel Harrison gave us hamburgers instead. He gave us tomorrow. Voice breaks. He pauses, continues. We have carried his mercy 50 years, in our hearts, in every choice we made to be kind when we could be cruel, to forgive when we could hate, to build when we could destroy. He holds up the baseball. Theodore's signature barely visible. Margaret's elegant script faded. I have carried this since July 1945. It has been with me every important day. My wedding, the births of my children, every graduation. Every moment I needed to remember that goodness is real, that mercy exists, that one man's choice can change 312 lives. He hands the baseball to Harrison. Harrison takes it with trembling hands, sees his own handwriting from 1945. Margaret's script. Theodore's boyish scrawl. The past made tangible. I kept something too, Harrison says quietly. Theodore brings forward the glass jar, unwraps it. Inside the hamburger, 50 years old, dark, shrunken, impossible, yet undeniable. The men gasp. Some step forward, some cover mouths, some begin crying. You kept it, Friedrich whispers. You actually kept it. I promised. If any of you came back, I would share a meal. Harrison opens the jar. The seal breaks like an exhaled breath. The hamburger smells like nothing. Time has taken even that. What remains is something beyond food. Memory made solid. Promise made real. He lifts it carefully. Weighs almost nothing. Hard as wood. Fragile as hope.
I cannot ask you to eat this,
Harrison says. It would make you sick. Friedrich laughs through tears, takes the hamburger gently, holds it up like something holy. Then we share it differently. This represents the moment one man chose kindness over killing. We cannot eat it, but we can carry it, remember it, pass on what it means. He begins breaking the hamburger carefully. It fractures along ancient fault lines, shards and crumbs. 211 pieces for 211 men. Each man steps forward, receives his piece, some large as a coin, some small as a grain of rice. They press pieces to their hearts, kiss them, close their eyes. Otto Hartmann receives his piece and begins sobbing. Great, racking sobs. Harrison goes to him, this man who was once a 12-year-old boy. Otto. I became teacher, Otto says in accented English. 40 years. Every year I tell students about American captain who gave mercy, about hamburger that saved lives. Now I have proof.
This is real.
He clutches his piece like a diamond. Peter Hoffman approaches. 63, a doctor, pediatrician who spent his life saving children. I became doctor because you showed me saving lives matters more than taking them. I have delivered over 1,000 babies, saved hundreds of sick children, all because you fed a hungry boy in 1945. One by one, the men share stories. Klaus became an architect, rebuilt German cities. Johann became a priest, taught forgiveness 40 years. Heinrich became a farmer, fed his community. Each carries a piece of hamburger. Each carries 50 years of gratitude. Friedrich speaks again, voice steadier. Captain Harrison, 101 of our brothers are not here. They have passed. But before they died, each wrote you a letter. Letters we have carried. Letters we want you to have. He produces a wooden box, carved, beautiful. Inside letters, handwritten, addressed to Captain Nathaniel Harrison. Friedrich opens one, reads aloud, reads,
From Hans Weber, died 1987. Dear Captain Harrison, I became a father because you let me live. My son is named Nathaniel. I told him why. Thank you for my tomorrow. Another letter. From Klaus Schmidt, died 1992. I became a teacher. Every day I looked at the baseball. Every day I remembered that one choice can change everything. Thank you.
Another. From Joseph Klein, died 1994. I am dying now. Cancer takes me. But I have had 50 good years because of you. I married. I had children. I laughed. I loved. I lived. Thank you for the hamburger. Thank you for everything. Friedrich's voice breaks. He hands the box to Harrison. 101 letters. 101 thank yous. Harrison takes the box. The weight of 50 years of gratitude and memory and lives lived because of one choice. He cannot speak, can only hold the box and weep. The ceremony continues. The men form a circle around Harrison and his family. They sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game in German accented English, the same song they learned 50 years ago. Grandchildren play with German men's grandchildren. A new generation. No war between them. Only baseball and the legacy of one man's choice. As sun sets over Bavarian hills, Friedrich makes one final statement. Captain Harrison, Nathaniel, you carried a hamburger for 50 years. We carried your mercy for 50 years. Today, we complete the circle. Today, we say what we have waited half a century to say. 211 voices speak in unison, in English, rehearsed, perfect. Thank you. The words echo across the field, across time, across the vast distance between enemy and friend, war and peace, death and life. Harrison stands surrounded by men he saved who saved themselves, men who became proof that mercy matters, that one person's choice can echo across decades and continents and generations. You're welcome, he whispers. You are all so very welcome. That evening they share a meal. Real hamburgers grilled by German caterers. 211 German grandfathers and 1 American captain and 12 American grandchildren all eating hamburgers together. The taste is the same. The tears are the same. But the fear is gone. The war is gone. Only gratitude remains. As the reunion ends, Friedrich pulls Harrison aside, hands him an official document. We have established a scholarship, the Harrison Mercy Scholarship, for children orphaned by war. We fund it together. Every year we send 12 children to university. We feed their minds the way you fed our bodies. We give them tomorrow the way you gave us tomorrow. Harrison looks at the document. Names of 211 donors, records showing hundreds of children helped. You did not have to do this. Yes, we did. This is how we ensure your mercy keeps echoing. They embrace. 2 old men, former enemies, brothers now. The next morning, Harrison flies home. The glass jar is empty, the hamburger distributed among 211 men who will carry it to their graves. But he brings something else. The box of letters, the baseball, the knowledge that his choice mattered. On the plane, Theodore asks, "Was it worth it, Dad, keeping that hamburger for 50 years? Harrison looks out at clouds below, thinks of Friedrich and Otto and Peter and all the others, thinks of 101 letters from men who died grateful, thinks of the scholarship, thinks of lives lived and children born, and kindness echoed across half a century. Yes, he says, it was worth everything. 3 years later. Boston, February 1998. Nathaniel Harrison dies peacefully in his sleep. 81 years old, surrounded by family, Theodore holding one hand, his granddaughter Sarah holding the other. The funeral fills the church. Friends, former students, family, and 211 men from Germany. They come with their vials, tiny glass containers holding their pieces of hamburger. They come with their baseballs. They come with their gratitude. Friedrich gives the eulogy, his English perfect now. This man saved my life, not with a gun, with a hamburger. He taught me that mercy is stronger than hate, that kindness is braver than cruelty, that one person's choice can change hundreds of lives. He pauses, gathers himself. 312 boys became 211 men because one American captain said no to execution and yes to mercy. We are here today, our children, our grandchildren, our futures, because he chose to feed us. He kept a hamburger for 50 years. He kept a promise. He kept his humanity when war demanded he surrender it. And because of that we lived. Thousands of us, our descendants, a legacy of mercy echoing forward through generations. The 211 men stand, walk to the casket one by one, place their baseballs on it, a pile of worn leather and faded signatures. They salute, perfect, grateful, final. Theodore speaks last, reading a letter his father left. To my 211 friends, I did not save you. You saved yourselves. I just gave you the chance. You took that chance and became doctors, teachers, fathers, builders of peace. You became proof that mercy echoes, that kindness multiplies, that even in darkness we can choose light. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for letting me keep my promise. Thank you for showing the world that one choice, one moment, one hamburger can change everything. Keep carrying it forward. With love and gratitude, Nathaniel. The funeral ends. The men depart, returning to Germany with their baseballs and memories and pieces of a 50-year-old hamburger that means more than food ever could. The scholarship continues. Hundreds more children helped, lives changed, futures built on the foundation of one captain's choice.
And in Nuremberg, in the Memorial Garden, where 312 boys once stood waiting to die, a new plaque is added. Captain Nathaniel Harrison, 1917-1998. On April 12, 1945, he chose mercy. 312 lives saved, not with bullets, with hamburgers, with seeing children as children. May we all choose mercy. May we all remember we are all somebody's children, and children deserve tomorrows. The story spreads. Books written, documentaries filmed. The hamburger that saved 312 lives becomes legend. But for 211 men scattered across Germany, it is not legend. It is memory. It is the piece of hamburger they carry in glass vials. It is the baseball on their shelves. It is the reason they are alive. It is proof that in the darkest moments, one person can choose light, and that light can echo for 50 years and beyond.